Hello my house, I'm Athina and I'm grateful that you're here with me today. Today I'm going to talk about, I will call them psychic abilities as well. This video is going to be in the playlist of psychic abilities. The second video there. In the first video of psychic abilities, I talked about the clairs, like clairvoyant, clairsentient, clairaudient, claircognizant, and the other clairs that exists. This video is going to be about déjà-vus and prophetic dreams. They are also part of psychic abilities, and most of the time there is a connection of multiple psychic abilities to make that one happen. Most of the time, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, and claircognizant. Both they all are somehow mixed together. So you know déjà vu. It's like the feeling of having seen something before or being familiar with it, and like, what is this? Somehow this is familiar. I have the feeling I've seen this before. Or there is also the second difference with déjà vu. The one that I have most of the time is, I know I've saw this before. I had this as a dream. So in my case, déjà vu, for my experiences, is that déjà vu happens to me when I'm dreaming. I dream a lot. Of course, I don't remember every of my dreams. I would have to start again with writing down my dreams in my journal to start to remember them better, like it did in the past about procrastination and so on. But yeah, I would have dreams that I would remember clearly as day, and other dreams that I would have but I would not remember them. And then as time goes on, I'm living life, and then I have this feeling of déjà vu, like, hey, hold on a second, there's like this image that comes and fits in with the image of what I am experiencing right now. It's like it's like a film of the movie film, a movie film that is going down, and when I am in the moment of déjà vu, it feels like there's something fitting into this scenario, and I am remembering the dream that I had of this moment, and I'm like, oh, I remember, I dreamed this before, I know it. And sometimes I am lucky to know exactly what is going to happen afterwards, after the moment of realizing, I remember this is a déjà vu moment. Then I know what is happening afterwards, and sometimes I can change what is happening. Like, for example, one time I've dreamt that I was in school. My teacher was telling something, but in my dream I started to zone out. I did not pay attention to what my teacher was saying, and he called me out in the dream. Then later I woke up, I went to school like normal. I didn't remember the dream anymore. And weeks, months later, I was exactly at the same position. The teacher was exactly saying the same thing as in my dream, and I remembered, I know this. This happened before in my dream. I've dreamed about it. So, and then I realized in my dream I was called out. So I thought, nah, I'm not going to do the same thing as in my dream. So I started paying attention to what my teacher was saying. I followed him everywhere because he was walking around and talking and teaching us something. And I was following him around, and I tried to not zone out or think about that this was a déjà vu moment, so that I could pay attention. And surely he did not call me out. because he saw that I was paying attention, so he didn't have to say to me, hey, are you paying attention? What was I talking about? Because when I was in that class, I would often talk to my neighbor and zone out, so he knew that I was a talkative person and not always paying attention. So and I was sitting right in the front row, so he had a perfect view to me. So there is this difference of having the feeling of seeing it before but not knowing why. And the one that I mostly have is more to the claircognizant, where I know that I had this as a dream and I'm remembering everything that happened to a certain point. Sometimes it's a little shorter, sometimes it's a little longer. What I remember is going to happen afterwards, depending on how long I was dreaming that part of the future. Sometimes it's short and then it goes away and I am like dreaming something else. Most of the times those deja vu moments, those dreams that I have, come in between other dreams, so it fades out with the other things, so I don't remember exactly what happened, and that's why I remember them in the moment of the deja vu. So now, because deja vu is different from prophetic dreams. Prophetic dreams is you dream exactly what is going to happen one-on-one, and you remember that you had this dream, and in your waking life, this dream happens exactly as your life happens exactly as in the dream. Like, no difference. You remember exactly that you dreamed it, not you have the feeling of deja vu. It's like you know it, you're living in it again. An example that I have to take for this one-on-one exactly is from my friend, because I don't have that prophetic dream in me. My friend said that she went to school, medical school, and there she had to learn how to take blood from patients, and she had a test on that. So there were in her dream, she dreamed that she was there, that they called her into the room, and there was a woman and a man there, and at a place they put on all the, I think they're called syringes, so that you can take the blood, and all the needle. There were different needles and different things, and you had in her test was to pick up the right needle with the right syringe, and make the syringe and say that this is the right syringe because of this and this and this and that. And so in her dreams, she dreamed about entering that room, seeing the woman and the man, and where the syringes were. And she went there and looked at all the needles, picked why this was not the one and why this was the one, and the syringe, and she built it and talked about the things and so on and so forth. And then she woke up. She was like, when she woke up, she was like, oh my god, I felt like this was real and not a dream. She was like, it felt so real, the dream, that when she woke up, she could not believe that it was a dream, because it was so real. Like, there was nothing strange happening that could indicate that this was a dream, because it felt so realistic. And then when she went to the test, she entered the room. It was exactly the man and the woman same persons that she had in the dream, but because she had the dream, she knew where the tools were, and she went directly to the tools without them having to explain to her where there was and what she had to do. And she was like, she went there, she picked the right needle on her first try without having to look, because she knew where it was from the dream. She took that and talked about those things that needed, and she passed the test because she had the prophetic dream one-on-one. Like exactly how the dream was is what happened in real life. And she talked about this, and I said, yeah, your dream that you had, you saw the future and you remembered the future, and that's why you when it happened in real life, you knew already where the things was and what was going to happen. So in my experience, my own experience, I have also prophetic dreams, but mine are slightly different. My dreams, they are more dreamlike, but the subtle message of the dream that is the message for real life is still there. Like, for example, when I was in school, I would always stress out because of if I would pass or not the test. Most it was math because I'm not so good at math, moreover algebra, and we were having algebra in that moment. So I was stressed, and before I went to sleep, I would always pray for me to pass the test. And then I would dream of getting the test back. Then there was those dreams where I would have a passing mark. And then when I woke up, I knew that this dream was not reality, that I would not pass the test. And so when the day when we were getting the tests back, it didn't happen exactly as the dream. There were reality and the dream were different from each other. The room was different, and the people around me as well. But the message from that dream was the same. I did not pass the test. Then there were also those dreams where I would get the test back, and I would see that I did not pass the test. So I would wake up and I knew subtly in my unconscious that I did not pass it. And then I would get it back, and surely I did not pass it. For example, in 2021, it was 2021, I think, or 2020. Yeah, it was 2022, sorry. In 2022, I tried to apply to a college to learn application linguistic, to later on get a master to be a translator. And for the test, the test was the first language, that was the base language for the whole year. In my case would be German. My first foreign language was English, and my second foreign language was French. So I had to take a test of all three languages at the same day for more than hours. Like, the German test was 1 hour and a half, the French and the English test was 1 hour and 15 minutes, all on the same day. It was a lot. I thought German went well. English, after having a pause between German to English went really well. I was like, this is easy. And then we had lunch, and then I had the French test, and my brain was already not working enough because of the heaviness of having had lunch, and also having to think in German and in English previously, and now I had to switch into French, and do the French test with reading, grammar, and so on. And that, I knew that went bad. Like, I knew that I would, when I was doing the test, I knew this is going to be hard. I may have luck and barely pass, or I would not pass at all. I knew French was on those things, but I still kept having hope. And one day I had a dream where I was on the computer and I would see on real time the results from my tests, and I saw that like the numbers were going up in German, and like you had here the name German, then English and French, and the numbers on the side that were like the marks that I had, and it was going like real time. I could see the number going up and going up real fast, but I knew in the dream that there was somehow where I knew I did not pass. And then a little bit later I received what was it, a letter from the school with the results. And even though in my dream I did not pass any of the languages. Like all 3 languages I did not pass in my dream. But when I received the letter, I knew I did not pass one of them, but I didn't know which one. But when I opened up, I saw I did not pass German and French, but English I passed. So that was slightly different from my dream, but still I knew the future because of the dream. I knew that I would not pass. So I was not disappointed when I received the letter. I was like, yeah, I knew it. And then we could phone to the school to ask about the results, and they would just slightly explain which parts of the test I did not manage and so on. And I can do the test again next year. I'm going to try it again, and to my luck I don't have to repeat the English test, so I will only have to do German and French. So only two languages for me. And yeah, I'm going to see if I'm going to have a prophetic dream again or not. Or if I'm going to have a deja vu moment. I also had deja vu moments while writing a test, and I was like, no, I dreamed about this, but I can't remember what choice I made in my dream. This happened to me once, and I was like, no. But I think I even if I had the dream and knew what answer I would pick, I probably would have picked the wrong one, because I was not meant to be in that college to be an elementary school teacher. But yeah, this is more or less what I know and have experienced about deja vus and prophetic dreams. Of course, there is so much more knowledge to those things. Like for example, what I'm remembering right now, it's coming through, is that our soul likes to travel when we are asleep. Mine likes to travel a lot in time, space, and dimensions. So I have been in places and had dreams of places that I could not imagine here on Earth, because it was a different planet with different species and different dimensions and so on, and magic was real there. You could like use fire, like in those what is it, movies that we know of. And the same thing happens with our soul, because our soul is not restricted. We can travel to places where we have not been before. We can go back and forth in time. And so what I think basically deja vus are is that our soul is going to the future, because time happens at the same time. So right now, in this moment, the future is already happening and the past is happening as well. They are like walking parallel to each other, and that's how they affect us. And our soul, in the right here and now, as we perceive as humans, because that is our restriction here in the 3D. When we dream, we are not bound by our body anymore, and our soul can travel. So it can go back to the past and go back to the future and go to the future. And so it goes to the future, lives the moment there, but then comes back into the present for waking up. But because our human brain cannot comprehend all the subtle messages and those things that happened in the dream, there is a restriction put on, and so we forget about all the things that happened. So that's why we don't remember having dreamt of that déjà vu moment, of the moment in the future. So we forget it because our brain cannot comprehend this. But in the moment of the déjà vu happening, we feel it in our soul that this happened before, because our soul went there and came back with the knowledge, but like from our conscious mind, it just took it off from there as a memory, so that we don't remember. But we have that feeling or the knowing that we seen this before. So that's how I would explain as well how déjà vu moments and prophetic dreams happen. Like our soul is just going on a wandering around and taking those informations back, because there are different timelines in front of us, and with the choices that we make, we go into a different timeline all the time. And sometimes I feel like our soul can also jump into a timeline to get those information, and then when we have the déjà vu moment, we can decide if we are going to do it the same exact way as in the dream, or if we choose to do it differently, like I did with my teacher, that I paid attention, and so I did not get caught out. It's just a slight difference, and it's not going to be like the most life-changing choice. It's just something different, and I do like to do this when I have a déjà vu moment. I try to make it different than a dream if I did not like what happened in the dream. It's just a fun for me, because it's not life-changing events that I have déjà vu moments on. It's just day-to-day things that happen. So this is everything that I can talk about déjà vu and prophetic dreams. I would love to hear about your experiences, if you have one, or if you know more about déjà vus or prophetic dreams, or if you have a different opinion on déjà vus and prophetic dreams. I would love to read it. So if you want, you can leave a comment. You don't have to. So thank you for sticking with me to the end and listening to me blabble about those things. I hope it could help for some of you to understand a little bit more of the difference between those two things, and the difference of déjà vu as well. So yeah, thank you. I wish you all the best, and I will be seeing you in my next video. Bye!